we brought featured creature to News Channel 9 because why not? We can scare Bill and everyone else in the process. Joining me this morning is Susie Grant. She's an animal educator at the aquarium. We work with her all the time for featured creature. Thank you so much for being here and bringing two creatures here to us this morning. So what is this guy?
Oh, this is a really neat little lizard called a blue-tongued skink, and hopefully he's going to show you exactly why in just a minute. You know, we have skinks and lots of different kinds of lizards found around here. This particular one is a little bit bigger than the ones we find here and is found in Australia, New Guinea, in the Indian Ocean Islands.
Yeah, this is a pretty big lizard. I'm thinking he's like about my arm's length.
He is. But you know, even though he may look pretty big to us, he's still a pretty small creature. And so all of our lizards have to have some pretty unique ways of protecting themselves, because while he looks big to us, he looks like a meal to many other animals.
Very true.
So in order to protect himself is part of the reason that he got that name, blue-tongued skink. He uses his blue tongue. It really is about the same color blue as my shirt. And what he'll do is when he gets frightened, he'll open up his mouth and he'll blow himself up with air to make himself look really big, and then he sticks his tongue out at you and he wiggles that tongue and he'll hiss and try to make some noise to kind of look and say, hey, I'm really kind of scary. You want to leave me alone.
So we want to see that blue tongue because that's kind of his defense mechanism.
It is, and let's see if he was sticking it out just a few minutes ago. But,
there we go. Did we catch that? I think so. Oh my gosh, his tongue is actually blue. So that really scares away anyone who's trying to eat him.
It's primarily a means of startling them. I mean, if you were looking at this as a meal and all of a sudden you saw something blue coming towards you, you're not really sure what it is. And so it is a good way of startling a predator that doesn't necessarily give him a lot of time, but just enough time to run away or to find a nice place to hide.
All right, so now we have another creature that has another very interesting defense mechanism.
This is a mechanism deployed by a lot of our lizards found around here. This is a type of gecko. Now again, this one is not what you would find in your backyard. This is a leopard gecko, and he's from more the Middle Eastern region. But if you look carefully, you'll notice that his tail is just a little bit of a different color.
It's almost purpley.
And their tail is always a little bit different looking than the rest of their body, and it has a couple of different purposes. By having a really fat tail, it does sometimes confuse predators as to which is the head and which is the tail. And so a predator doesn't know which end to grab first. And then oftentimes they can wiggle their tail, and a predator will grab a hold of their tail. Now, their tail, we're going to take a little sidetrack just for a minute because it has another purpose too. It stores fat, which helps it to survive during times when they can't find food. But it's also a defense mechanism, because not only does it confuse the predator, but let's say that a predator grabs them by the tail, they literally can break that tail off, and then the predator is left holding the tail in his mouth, and the little leopard gecko can run off to safety.
Such a smart little gecko. And you actually have a tail.
We have a tail that they can just break off. And what's really amazing is that tail, not only does it break off, but then it grows back. And so it's a good way of still being able to store the fat that it needs to survive, but at the same time protect itself. And many of our lizards, even those that you find in our backyards around here, use this same technique to protect themselves. You know, a lot of people see little skinks running around with a bright blue tail, and that bright blue tail may attract a predator. They grab the tail, and then the lizard breaks it off and can run on about its way.
Some of these creatures are smarter than we think they are.
They really are, and they're a lot of fun to get to learn about. So.
Absolutely. All right, thank you so much, Susie, for joining us this morning. We'll put these segments on our website, newschannel9.com, so you can learn more about skinks and geckos.